Hello, everyone. So, I've been thinking, as I always do, um, and what I was thinking about is just really like the meaning of life. And to give my take on it, um, I think that what life really comes down to is what do you want it to be and what do you want to get out of it? We're stuck in this world. We were birthed into this world unknown to it all and learned from birth how to be a part of it. Um, what we like, what we don't like, and who we want to be known as through those likes and dislikes. And some people call it the matrix, some people call it the government, some people call it spiritual warfare, some people call it hell, some people call earth hell, some people call earth heaven. Being that both the premise of the Garden of Eden from the traditional Bible came was a part of what was on earth, and same as hell was kind of a version of, because of all the destruction and suffering and pain that we all endure here on earth. Considers it hell to some people. Some people call it a simulation, as in that there's a higher body, a higher system, whether more intellectual, whether more spiritual, whether more conscious, all of the above, that is controlling us. That is, in a sense, kind of like this is a video game simulation that, though we feel as though we have free will, that it's still this divine intervention going on outside of the system of it all. Um, and some feel as though that we're kind of just here. There's no explanation for it. It's happened. The only reality, the only fact that we got that it's happened is that the fact that we're here. With all of these perspectives, I see that in order to find solace and peace, and for me, like I said, and I think for many, it's important to look at. It could be very helpful to look at it at this aspect. Is life is all about what you want it to be and what you want to get out of it. Meaning, if you want to live as long as possible, you start gravitating towards things that complement that. For example, if your diet, for example, if you eat meat, if you eat certain preservatives and certain man-made things that aren't necessarily natural and good for our bodies, so therefore slowly but surely degrades our bodies. If you want to live a longer life, people will start gravitating towards eating less meat, eating less things that cause harm and overworking of our bodies. So that's why so many people, and we have this whole craze of people going into plant-based diets and non-meat diets, or just adjusting their diet to include the things that they like and want, they always did, but kind of just do it more of a moderation than all the time type thing. As well as mental and spiritual health. If we want to live long, we also know that we want to live this life as happy for as long as possible, and start that as soon as possible. So, getting into things that explains why we feel pain and how to get over pain more quickly than others, how to not be fostering your mind over things about the meaning of life and why we're here and what our purpose is and things like that, causes people to then gravitate towards spirituality, because it's a million and one ways and lessons that's in it that tells us and explains to us and get our soul and get our mind at peace, so we're not ruminating over these things without being unknown, because we do have human brains, we do have hearts, and who really knows if any of the thoughts and the feelings and emotions come from either of those places? Who really knows? I mean, scientists out there, they say it does. We believe them because the facts, the mathematics and things, all the systems that we pretty much constructed, validates that. But in the outside realm of everything, we created everything that we use as a measuring tool today. um, so that brings me back to my point that if creation, if all these things, whether academic, whether um, artistic, are constructions of our minds, of our experiences, of our beings, then what really is the purpose of life? Why do we create these things? What we want out of life, and what we want to get out of it. That takes out so much judgment. That takes out so much of the argument about what is the right life to live and how to live it the right way. And a lot of times, and I've done it myself, and I'm growing more conscious about it, is I compare my life to somebody else's. So for example, somebody's life seems healthier to me than my own, then I want to do more of what they're doing. Or if I seem as though my life is healthier in whatever way, mentally, spiritually, physically, than somebody else's, then I feel good and I feel as though that I want to promote and tell other people to live life the way I'm living it. Um, the the thing about that though is that if those people aren't resonating and, for example, want the same thing out of life as I do, or don't see life and want life to actually work until they die as the same way, then that's when the conflict comes, because they're like, you're trying to project this thing onto me that I don't really care about. Some people don't care that meat and certain things that they eat and certain things that they consume, whether watch, listen to through music, hang with certain people, have certain jobs, do certain things, or don't do certain things. They don't really care about how that affects the longevity of their life. Some people really don't. And who am I to judge and say that they should want to live a life as long as possible? I mean, I think a lot of people would. I think a lot of people would want happiness and all these things to last for as long as possible. But at the end of the day, what if someone is okay with doing what they enjoy and what they like, but that unfortunately may take some time off their life if they can at least enjoy it? Now, like I say, I think it's always to be mindful about how your life and your actions affect other people and other lives. So when I take that into account, the reason why, for example, I choose a plant-based diet and try to stay on it as much as possible is because, yes, it's the health benefits, of course, and I want to live as long as I possibly can, but also because my life, my desires, my pleasures, what I like to eat and like to taste, I became more conscious of, I don't want that to then be the direct effect of somebody else's life, something else life, an animal's life. I don't feel as though it's necessary for me to live at the hands of the death of another animal. And also because the vegetables and non-meat things that are more natural are better for my body and my system. So for me, it just makes sense. And the life that I want to live, I want my life to make sense. I want my life to be as in tune with harmony as possible. But I also have matrix pleasures, and I also have societal pleasures that I want to still get my master's degree, and I still want to contribute to the world in some type of structured matrix like way, but at my own beat. And I think that's the thing that the Matrix movie and the concept of the Matrix and the system and the government and going off grid, some people feel as though leaving the Matrix completely and not contributing to it and no longer using it for good or bad things will eventually destroy it. But we forget to realize that we as a people, we as a human, created the Matrix in the first place. Like I said, whether that is literally us on Earth who created it, or people beyond, or things beyond, or whatever beyond, it's here, and we're utilizing it, and we're living through it literally every day, whether we like it or not. So if you want to go off grid and don't contribute at all, cool. But the Matrix will still be here, and you're still somehow, some way going to be use of or contributing to the Matrix. You just are. So I look at it as, for me, to utilize it to my benefit, because it's a system. Not utilize people, not utilize the things and animals and stuff like that. I try to minimize that as much as possible because I have a heart, I have a soul, and the last thing I think we want to feel like is just we're just instruments and a number and a utilization for somebody else instead of them genuinely caring about our souls. So it's important to think about what you want out of life and to not judge others because of how differently they want to live, because you never know where people are coming from. You never know. And this includes morals, this includes, like I said, religion, this includes things like people want their family, they want their friends to seem like a shield against the world. They want to feel protected. They want to have morals that align with, if you are part of me and I claim you, then I want you to do these things and not do these things to guarantee to me that I will be safe at all times. Some people just want safety. And it just has to be okay with that, and they would attract people who are aligned with that. Me personally, I'm the type of person who, of course, I want stability. Of course, I want to feel as though other people have my back, but really not at the expense of their own freedom, not at the expense of their own well-being. And I believe that there could be a great balance between true independence and freedom, and still wanting to be a part of family and friendships and in a system and contribute in a truly heartfelt, genuine way. And just because they don't do it in a way of, in a sense, self-sacrificing themselves just so they could prove to me that they're a good friend to me, doesn't mean that they aren't a good person who I still can't rock with. Because I'm the type of person who, I too don't want to be held down by nobody else's morality of me being a good friend. But I understand too, if I can't be the friend that you want me to be, if I can't be the person in your life that you want me to be, that you have all the authority to let me know that unfortunately this is going to work out because I don't make you feel how you want to feel. And that's fair. And I can have my judgment about it. You can have your judgment about it. And if that judgment can't be agreed upon, we go our separate ways. But like I said, that takes out the judgment, that takes out the pain. And then this is when other things come into line, when if you're still upset and sad and frustrated by that ending of that relationship, mindfulness and sitting with your emotions and just thinking about your thoughts and the reason why these things are occurring in your life and how you're feeling and thinking the way you are, all comes in handy. And whether you decide to, okay, I want to change this because I don't like how this feels, and it seems like a lot of people can't come into my life and meet my standards. Maybe my standards um aren't healthy for myself and I just didn't know it. Or, you know what, I find that there's people out there who want to be the type of person in my life that I'm expecting to, and there's nothing wrong with that. Therefore, I'm gonna just go for those people. It may be harder, it may be not as much people, but I'd rather have those people than deal with the people who I know can't fulfill me but just prove to me time after time that they can't. I'm gonna just avoid that. To each his own. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with the comfort zone. It's more important to know what in it makes you comfortable and whether it holds you back from what you want in life or not. All right, guys. So I really hope that resonates. I hope you can gain something out of it. Please comment your insights and your thoughts, your beliefs, and also comment topics that you would like me to discuss further. Um, yeah, and with nothing more to say, I love you and take care.